Quick video on toolbox organization. I see a lot of videos guys post showing off their socket rails and stuff like that. I know you can spend hundreds of dollars on Snap-on and Matco socket rails, but years ago when I put this box together, I went a much cheaper route. So what I was running into was when you bought a lot of these sockets, they come on rails already. I'll use these 1/4 inch deeps for example. They came on a little, 6-inch long socket rail. And I found that with a lot of them, and I'm like, well, what do you do with these things? And it occurred to me, how about we implement them into the whole layout of this thing? Now with some of them, like my Snap-on deeps, they actually came in like a blow molded case. First thing I did, although the case itself was decent enough, it took up a lot of space. So the first thing I did was turf that. Now, others might want to use that. That's their prerogative. But what I did was I made custom ones, and they cost me literally nothing. The sockets I had that didn't have socket rails, I just went to the local auto supply store and bought these cheap, like $3 socket rails. I took some wood. You can use strapping. In my case, I took a piece of plywood and ripped it in half so I can actually separate these two. And I actually, if you can see, I just screwed the socket rail down on the board. Now this one here, my bit drivers, I keep loose because I use these a lot on the go, so I take the whole set with me. But with that aside, you run some screws through that. That's not bad, and I can take this whole section out and the back section and remove it as I need it. If I need to bring it out of the toolbox, maybe bring it to the vehicle or something like that. Now, if you drill these socket rails or you screw these socket rails right to the plywood or whatever you're using, use a 2x4, it really doesn't matter. There's going to be a little bit of wobble back and forth depending on the design of the socket rail. These are the really cheap, like Princess Auto, Harbor Freight ones. What I did was I ran my circular saw. I set it just with the guard maybe that far up from the edge of the blade, and I ripped a groove all across the board. So that way these sit just about this much into this piece of wood. So there's no moving. It's steady, it's sturdy. The wood's heavy enough that when you pick up the socket, even if you pick up a couple sockets, it's not going to come off. And I've had this set up for 10 years, over 10 years, and it still serves me well. I shot some black paint on it, a little bit of rattle can black paint, before I mounted the socket rails, and there you go. And you know what? It's not the fanciest thing, but it works for me, and maybe it'll work for you too. Thanks for watching, guys.